Hey everyone, and welcome back. For this deep dive, we're going to be looking at AI education, and more specifically how robots are being used to teach AI concepts. The research we'll be diving into is a 2024 article. It's called Education in the AI Era, a long-term classroom technology based on intelligent robotics.
Okay.
Now get this, they're using robots with smartphones for brains. I
Wow.
know, right? Pretty wild. So we're going to explore how this approach is being used in classrooms, from secondary school all the way up to university.
Sounds really interesting. And this idea of using robots to teach AI, it really speaks to a much larger trend that we're seeing, which is this global push for AI literacy.
It makes sense, though. AI is everywhere these days.
It is.
And there are even organizations like UNESCO and the AI 4K12 initiative.
I've heard of them.
They're advocating that everyone needs a basic understanding of AI, regardless of their field.
That's really interesting because AI 4K12, it isn't just saying that, hey, everyone needs to learn to code.
Yeah?
They've actually identified 5 big ideas of AI literacy.
Oh, that's cool. What are they?
So they are perception, natural interaction, representation, and reasoning, learning, and then the societal impact of AI.
So it's not just about the technical skills then. It's about understanding how AI works and also the implications.
Exactly, and that's where I think robots come in.
Okay.
So the article argues that robots are ideal for teaching AI because they're essentially real-world examples of what they call intelligent agents.
Intelligent agents.
Yeah, so these are systems that can perceive their environment, process information, and make decisions to achieve a goal.
That makes sense. It is a good point. Because robots are becoming much more common in our lives now.
They are.
Everywhere, from our homes to our workplaces.
Yeah, and I think that makes understanding how they work pretty important.
Definitely. Now, I haven't seen a robot chef yet,
Me neither.
but I'm holding out for one. Until then, tell me more about this robot that's at the heart of this research.
It's called Robobo,
Robobo. Okay.
and it's specifically designed for AI education.
So it's not just a toy.
No, it's not just a toy. It's a sophisticated platform with features that allow students to experiment with all sorts of AI concepts.
And what about the smartphone brain? Was that a stroke of genius or what?
I think it's brilliant because it makes it much more affordable and accessible for schools.
I agree completely. It makes it easy to upgrade as smartphone technology improves. And the article also mentioned that Robo can operate in the real world, but also in a simulation environment.
Oh, right, called RoboboSim.
RoboboSim. Interesting. Can you tell me more about how that works?
Sure. So RoboboSim, it allows students to learn in a safe virtual space before they actually apply their knowledge to a real-world setting.
That makes sense. So, like, you could design and test your AI program in the simulator first.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you feel confident, you can upload it to the actual robot and see it come to life.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I love that idea. So you're building confidence, encouraging experimentation, and there's no fear of breaking something in the real world.
Exactly. It's a great way to learn.
It really is. So let's talk about what Robobo can actually do.
Okay.
The article mentions some pretty impressive capabilities.
Yeah, it does. So it can sense its surroundings using a variety of sensors, including the ones built into the smartphone.
Like what?
Well, like cameras and microphones. This allow it to see, hear, and even feel its environment.
Wait, feel. How does a robot feel?
That's where the smartphone's touchscreen comes in. It acts as a tactile sensor, so Robobo can respond to touch.
Oh, okay, so it can actually recognize faces and emotions.
It can, using computer vision.
That's amazing. So it's not just reacting to its surroundings, it's actually interpreting them on a deeper level.
Exactly. It's a more complex level of interaction.
Really cool. What about movement? What kind of actions can Robo perform?
Oh, it's surprisingly mobile. It can move around, manipulate objects. It uses 3D printed attachments to do that. And it can also speak, display information on the smartphone screen, and even express emotions.
Now that you mention it, the article did say it could express emotions.
Yeah, it can, through facial expressions and sounds.
Oh, wow. That's really clever. What a great way to make it more engaging for students.
I agree.
It's not just a cold, calculating machine. It actually has a bit of personality.
Exactly. And that personality is programmed by the students.
I love that. Now, speaking of programming, I'm curious about the software side of things. What programming languages can students use with Robobo?
Well, it's designed to cater to different skill levels. Beginners can start with Scratch.
I've heard of Scratch. It's the one with the drag and drop interface, right?
That's right. It uses blocks that represent different commands.
So it's perfect for beginners because it's easy to learn the logic of programming without getting bogged down in syntax.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great for beginners, but what about more advanced students who are ready for something a bit more challenging?
For those who want to go deeper, Robo also supports Python.
I've heard of that one. Isn't that a professional language?
Yeah, Python is very versatile. It's a powerful language, and it's used widely in professional AI development.
So students can actually learn industry standard tools and techniques.
They can, which is great preparation for their future careers in AI.
That is fantastic. So you've got a robot that can sense its environment, make decisions, take actions, express emotions, and it can be programmed using both beginner-friendly and industry-standard languages.
That's right.
What a comprehensive learning platform. But I'm curious, has this actually been tested in real classrooms?
It has, and the article highlights several case studies where Robo was implemented in classrooms across Europe.
Wow. And what were the results like?
Really impressive.
Okay. We should dive into those.
We should.
But maybe after a quick break.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's hear about those real-world results. I'm really curious to know how students and teachers responded to this, this robot in the classroom.
Well, the article says that Robo was used in a variety of educational settings, from secondary schools all the way to university master's programs.
Wow, so all different levels.
Yeah. And across the board, the feedback was really positive.
That's great. What were some of the specific ways that they used Robobo in the classroom?
Well, in secondary schools, they used it to teach, basic AI concepts and programming skills.
Okay, that makes sense. So, like, what kind of things were they actually doing?
So, for example, one project had students program Robobo to act as a robotic pet.
Oh, wow. So like a little robot dog or something.
Yeah, that would react to touch and then also express different emotions.
I love that idea. It just sounds so, I don't know.
Creative.
It is creative. And it's not just like a technical exercise. It's also a way for students to kind of explore their imagination.
Yeah, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening in real classrooms.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what about at the university level? How did they use Robobo in those more advanced settings?
So at the university level, students were given like more complex challenges.
Makes sense. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so some students used computer vision to program Robobo to navigate a room autonomously.
Like a self-driving car, but smaller. Exactly, yeah, a miniature self-driving car.
Wow. It's amazing that they can do with these robots. And it sounds like Robo is a really versatile tool that can be adapted to all different learning levels and subjects.
It is. One thing the article emphasized was that both the students and the teachers found Robobo to be really engaging and effective.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and the students were really excited to learn about AI and programming, using a hands-on tool like that.
It's more fun than just reading a textbook.
And the teachers appreciated the well-structured lessons and resources that came with Robobo.
So it's not just the robot, it's the whole package.
Exactly. It's like a whole educational ecosystem.
And the teachers said that it made teaching AI concepts much easier and more fun.
They did. They said it was a really positive experience.
Now, I know there are other educational robots out there, so how does Robobo compare to, like, I don't know, some of the others?
That's a good question. The article actually compares Robobo to some other popular ones like Thymeo and Fable.
I've heard of those, so are they kind of similar?
They are in some ways. Like, they're all great tools for teaching, basic robotics and programming. But Robobo, it really stands out because it has a wider range of AI-focused features, particularly in the areas of sensing and actuation.
Right, because it can use the smartphone sensors.
Exactly.
That's really clever. And it sounds like they really thought about everything, because they also included all these ready-to-use teaching resources.
Yeah, which are actually aligned with, those 5 big ideas of AI literacy that we talked about earlier.
So it's a very well-thought-out learning tool. So what's next for Robo? What does the future hold for this little robot?
Well, the researchers are very optimistic about the future of Robobo.
Okay. And I think one of the things they're most excited about
Is its long-term potential.
Okay, which is actually tied to the continuous evolution of smartphone technology. That's a good point. Smartphones just keep getting better and better, more powerful.
They do. And so as smartphones become more powerful, so will Robobo.
So they won't need to make big hardware changes.
Exactly. You won't need major hardware upgrades.
It's kind of future-proofed in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They believe this kind of built-in upgrade path makes Robo a sustainable and adaptable educational tool for years to come.
That's a fantastic point. Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of AI education and educational robotics.
It has. It's really exciting stuff.
So what does this all mean for our listener? What are the key takeaways here?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that AI literacy is becoming increasingly important in today's world.
It makes sense. I mean, AI is everywhere.
It is. It's no longer just, a niche subject for computer scientists and engineers.
Yeah. I think everyone needs a basic understanding of how AI works and how it's, shaping our world.
Exactly. And as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, having those foundational skills is going to become even more crucial.
All right, so that's the first takeaway. AI literacy is important. What's the second one?
The second takeaway, I think, is that robots like Robo have the potential to completely revolutionize the way we teach and learn about AI.
Because they're engaging and hands-on.
Exactly. They provide a hands-on, engaging, and accessible way to bring these complex concepts to life.
They're like little windows into the world of AI, allowing students to experiment and explore and learn in a fun, interactive way.
I like that. Little windows into the world of AI.
Now, before we wrap up, I have to ask the thought-provoking question.
Okay, shoot. I'm ready.
If you could design a learning activity using a robot like Robobo, what would it be?
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. I think it'd be amazing to have students use Robobo to address like a real-world problem in their community.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. Tell me more.
So imagine like a group of students using Robobo to help monitor air quality in their neighborhood. Or designing a program that allows Robobo to like assist elderly residents with simple tasks.
Okay. Or even coming up with creative ways to use Robobo to promote recycling and sustainability efforts at their school.
Yeah, it's about empowering students to use AI for good, to solve real-world problems, and to see the positive impact that technology can have on their community.
I love that. It ties in perfectly with, those big ideas of AI literacy.
It does, especially the societal impact of AI.
Exactly. It's not just about the technical stuff. It's about how we can use it to make a positive difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for our listeners who are, feeling inspired to learn more about AI and educational robotics, where should they start?
There are some fantastic resources available online. I think a good starting point is the AI 4K12 website. It's a great way to understand the fundamental concepts of AI literacy.
And what about Robobo? Where can they learn more about that?
So the Robo Project website has a ton of information about the robot, its capabilities, and all the research behind it.
Fantastic. We'll make sure to include links to those in the show notes.
Awesome.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into AI education and this incredible Robobo robot. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized and ready to explore the world of AI even further.
Me too. It's been a great discussion.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious. It's really amazing to think about all the ways a robot like Robobo could be used to teach and learn.
I know, right? It really shows how much potential there is for technology to like completely change education.
And the cool thing is we're not just, talking about future possibilities. We're talking about real stuff that's happening now.
Yeah.
The article's based on real results. Robobo's already being used in classrooms all over Europe.
It is. It's not just some idea. It's actually happening.
Yeah, it's a working solution that's already making a difference.
I think that's a really important point for listeners to understand.
What do you mean?
That AI education, it's not some far-off thing. It's happening right now.
Okay, yeah.
And it's more accessible than people think.
That accessibility is really important.
Definitely.
We need to make sure that everyone has the chance to learn about AI, not just people who are already, tech savvy.
Or have a lot of money to spend on fancy equipment.
Exactly, and that's where I think Robo really shines. Using a smartphone as its brain is brilliant.
It is.
It makes it affordable and adaptable. It levels the playing field.
I agree.
Everyone has a chance to learn. It's a great example of how we can use innovation to make education more accessible.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've talked about how important AI literacy is. We've explored the potential of using robots as learning tools. And we've seen how robots making a difference in real classrooms. What does it all mean for our listener? What's the big takeaway here?
To me, the most important takeaway is this. Learning about AI isn't just about the technical skills. It's about understanding the impact AI is having on the world and being ready to handle the changes that come with it.
It's like bigger than just coding.
Yeah, it's about critical thinking, learning to ask the right questions, and having informed discussions about how AI affects society and what's right and wrong.
Being able to have those discussions is so important.
It is. It's about giving people the power to shape the future of AI in a way that's responsible and benefits everyone.
I love that.
And the best part is, this learning journey, it can start right now, no matter who you are or what your background is. There are resources to help you get started.
Like what?
Well, we mentioned the AI 4K12 website before. It's a great place to start if you want to understand the basic ideas behind AI literacy.
Makes sense. And for people specifically interested in Robobo?
You should definitely check out the Robo Project website. It has tons of information.
Okay, so we've got AI 4K12 and the Robo Project website. Are there any other good resources out there?
Oh, there are online communities and forums where people talk about AI and share their own experiences. That's a good way to connect with others and learn from what they're doing.
Great suggestions. We'll be sure to link those in the show notes. Well, that's it for our deep dive into AI education and this awesome robot, Robobo. It's been a great conversation.
It has.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired to keep exploring the world of AI.
Me too.
Until next time, everyone, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious.